In this Algebra 1 series, I'm going to summarize each chapter by working through example problems. Chapter 1 introduces algebra, specifically variables and equations. Definition: a variable represents one or more numbers. If you rent a jet ski, multiply the hourly rate by the number of hours you use the jet ski to determine how much you owe. Here are a few examples of how much you would owe if you used the jet ski for this many hours. Just so you know, a dot can also be used to show multiplication. Simplify the quantity 26 plus 4 divided by the quantity 30 times 2. Order of operations tell me that I need to simplify the expression inside the parentheses first. That gives me 30 divided by 60. The greatest common factor of 30 and 60 is 30. 30 goes into 30 once. 30 goes into 60 twice. So 1/2 is my answer. Next question. Evaluate the quantity 6 plus the quantity 9xy divided by z. If x equals 2, y equals 3, and z equals 4. Rewrite the expression, filling in the values for the respective variables. The order of operations tells me that I should simplify the innermost parentheses first. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 plus 54 is 60. Divided by 4. 60 divided by 4 equals 15. And that is my answer. Next, evaluate simple interest on a loan. Using the formula I equals PRT. Calculate the interest earned on a principal of $5,000 at a rate of 12.5% per year for 2 years. After plugging in the values for P, R, and T into the formula, I get $1,250. In other words, the $5,000 accrued $1,250 over 2 years at 12.5% per year. Notice that years in the numerator cancels out with year in the denominator, leaving dollars as my unit. What does y equal to make this equation true? I went ahead and simplified the right side and wrote 6. Y is being subtracted from the left side, so I added y to both sides to get 6.5. The y cancels out on the left side, equals 6 plus y. To isolate y on the right side, I would have to subtract 6 from both sides. That's my answer. Here's a bit of arithmetic review. I have 72.34 times 2.1. I rewrote the problem as long multiplication. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 7 is 14. Now I add these two values together. I get 4, 8 plus 3 is 11, carry the 1. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, and 1. The values in my problem have a total of 3 decimal places, so my answer will have 3 decimal places. 151.914 is my answer. Remember, when adding fractions, the denominator has to be equal. In this case, the least common denominator is 21. To get 21 from 7, I would have to multiply it by 3. If I only multiply the denominator by 3, that would change the fraction, so I also have to multiply the numerator by 3. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 does not change the value of my fraction. Same process for 2/3. To get 21, I would multiply this by 7. Multiply the numerator by 7 also to keep the same value. Here I rewrote the problem. Again, this is 1 times 4/7 plus 2/3 times 1. In doing so, I know that 4/7 equals 12 over 21. And 2/3 still equals 14 over 21. I only did that to manipulate the denominators so that they would be equal. Now that they're equal, I can add them together, straight across. So the denominator is going to remain 21, and the numerator is added together to equal 26. I can leave my answer as an improper fraction, or rewrite it as a mixed number, which is a whole number and a proper fraction. Section 2 covers grouping symbols. Simplify 2t times the quantity 12 plus 4 divided by the quantity 15 minus 7 times y, minus the quantity 52y divided by the quantity 7 plus 6. If an expression contains more than one grouping symbol, first simplify the expression in the innermost grouping symbol. 7 plus 6 is 13. I went ahead and simplified the numerator and the denominator of this fraction. I got 16 divided by 8. Now I have two groups that I can simplify at the same time. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 52 divided by 13 is 4. 2y minus 4y is negative 2y. Negative 2y times 2t is negative 4ty. If t and y were given values, we could evaluate it. In this case, t and y both equal 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 times negative 4 is negative 324. And that's my answer. Section 3 discusses equations. Another name for an equation with a variable, like I have here, is called an open sentence. In this example, I need to solve 5y minus 1 equals 9 if this is the domain of y. This here is the element symbol. I'd say y is the element of this set, or y belongs to this set. In other words, I have choices to choose from for values of y, because y can represent 0, 1, 2, and or 3. After adding 1 to both sides, I get 5y equals 10. Divide both sides by 5, I get y equals 2. 2 solves this equation, therefore 2 is a root. Out of these values, 2 is the only one that solves this equation, therefore 2 is the solution set, and that is my answer. If I didn't explain myself well enough, I'm convinced these next two example problems will clear up any misunderstandings. Solve y times the quantity 4 minus y equals 3. If y belongs to the set 0, 1, 2, 3. Here I have a small table with the values of y and the equation with y plugged in. When y equals 0, 4 minus 0 is 4, times 0 is 0. 0 equals 3 is false. When y is 1, 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 equals 3 is true. Therefore, 1 is a root. When y equals 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 equals 3 is false. When y equals 3, 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 equals 3 is true. Therefore, 3 is also a root. The solutions are 1 and 3. Therefore, the solution set is 1, 3. I had underlined all of that, but really I should have just underlined my answer. I made a table instead of solving for y, because you won't learn how to solve for y in this type of equation until chapter 5. Here's the domain for our next problem. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 represent the values that the variable can equal. Pause the video while you convert this phrase into an equation. 4 times a number, here I have 4s, is equals 6 more than the number, that number plus 6. Again, I made a table with possible values for s. When s equals 0, 4 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. That is false. 2 is the only root. Therefore, 2 is the solution set. That's my answer. In this case, I can solve for s. So I'll double check my work. First, I'll isolate s on one side by subtracting s from both sides. I get 3s equals 6. Divide both sides by 3 to get s equals 2. I got the same answer. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, do me a favor and click subscribe. If you'd like to be notified when I upload subscriber challenges, turn on notifications.